Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's episode, it started with Steve and James. Steve was questioning James that he knows something about him and John Paul, and actually shows the video evidence of James and John Paul together on a night, which was caught on the CCTV. Now, the CCTV was actually built in by Fergus at the house for their dodgy bluebird, whatever you want to call it. And I think James was kind of shocked to see a footage of them, but Steve did explain why the cameras are installed in his house for safety issues due to recent events. Now, I believe James did try and deny at first. But later on, we did see James walk inside the dog. Well, this is where Steve works at the pub, doing a bit of cleaning. James walked in with like a bunch of flowers in his hand, and he had some music playing, I believe it's some classical music playing on his phone, carrying it with the other hand. And he was kind of entering the pub like pretty dramatically, but it was really funny. Again, he's another iconic character. He just got this really natural comical ability about him. And also when he called Donna Marie irrelevant. Now, normally she's very offensive to call someone irrelevant, but I just feel like James can actually get away with it because of his just funny connotations and the way he just goes about. Later on, Juliet and James bumped into each other and asked for James if he can lend her a tenner. He only had £20. She said, okay, she'll take that due to inflation. James tried to correct her grammar, which again is another funny thing he's done. And Steve came in, wading in, looking upset, and basically chucked the flowers back at him and told him they're over. On the other hand, we saw Brody sleeping on Sienna's couch. We saw Sienna open the curtains, and she's telling Brody to kind of stay in hiding, take it easy. She's going to go and sort Summer out, basically. And she left, and she, kind of gave that confidence to Brody that she's confident herself. She's got nothing to be afraid of. In fact, Summer should be afraid of Sienna. So Sienna went outside to take on the day, and she went into investigation mode, and she was at Summer's flat. And I believe Summer was getting changed upstairs. Sienna kind of probably prompted her, and she went into a massive search inside Summer's cupboards and such. And she found a diary hidden under the kitchen drawers. She read all sorts of stuff about her infatuation for Sienna. So this is Summer's diary, and how she's so obsessed with Sienna. And she even confesses that she actually shot Sienna. And this was a big discovery on Sienna's side, because all this time she thought it was Warren that has shot her. And Warren has lost his kids because of this. So when Sienna was putting the diary back in place, she saw a gun wrapped around in some cloth next to it. I mean, to me, that seemed quite scary, and I was getting quite tense myself, thinking Summer is about to come down the stairs at any minute. And if she gets caught, who knows what Summer will do to her. And I think what Hollyoaks did there for the viewers has created that tense atmosphere building up, where the audience is really engaged and screaming at Sienna to hurry up and put it back before Summer comes down. So instantly the audience is on Team Sienna because the real villain is upstairs, and I think that was a very good engagement. So shortly after, Summer came down the stairs to show off her dress. I think Sienna played it very well, as possibly as she can, and she said, "You look great." And I think also during that scene, Summer, when she was downstairs, Sienna still needed to put the diary back, so she pretended she heard something at the door. Is that Brody, just to get someone to go and check the door? Summer was really suspicious. She checked. Sienna almost lost composure. When she was putting the diary back, I just don't understand why she didn't do it in the first place. So when, Summer came back and said, "Look, no one's at the door," she was smiling, and when she stopped smiling, that looked a bit scary to me. So it was very concerning for Sienna at that point. Moving on, I think Sammy was also getting a bit tired of listening to Shaq thinking they are brothers. He doesn't want to lie to them, and he's kind of persuading Mizpah to tell him the truth. I find it funny when Samuel also tells Mizpah that every time Shaq calls him bro, he cringes. And later on, they had a date like a double date with Teresa, and Mizpah came in to make sure Sammy hasn't blurted anything out to Shaq. So later on again, we see Teresa walking on John Paul, stressing over to get his mum's job back. Teresa kind of advises to John Paul to chill out, maybe take a professional help, and kind of take it easy. John Paul grabs a glass of bottle and wine, and a glass, and Teresa looked quite concerned when she saw that. And we did see John Paul having kind of flashbacks of George with the negative stuff like abuse. So we might be seeing a storyline where John Paul is actually going through a bit of a tough time and has definitely some issues that may spiral out of control, because I'm guessing he probably won't take help now. Later on, we did see Steve actually confronting James towards the end of the episode, and John Paul punches him, which is totally out of character. John Paul has never been on the violent side, and the abuse that he's received from George has obviously impacted him quite a bit. Earlier on the episode, we saw Juliet and Perry grab some drinks from the cafe, and I believe it's Martine's cafe. And Juliet seems a bit off. She sees Perry touching her new necklace and showing off about it. She seems a bit jealous. Perry called her out on it, and Juliet was saying no, and obviously and said the gift is from a creep. Perry called her childish, and that's when Juliet kind of had enough and walked away and said, if I'm so childish, why are you with me, basically. And the interesting thing was there was a shadow watching them from outside. It's definitely a shadow of what looked like a guy, a grown man watching a couple of young girls from the outside through the glass. That is pretty scary stuff, and I can only think it might be Fergus or one of his associates, or it might be even little Timmy. Just keeping an eye on them too. That was very concerning, and again, very interesting to watch as a viewer. So another great episode. Tune in for the next review. Peace.